Gotcha. Is part of your contract filling in agency roles for a public records officer in accordance with the Public Records Act?
Exactly. No. In fact, I don't even have to answer your question.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what I think would probably be best in this case, since you're not a state employee and she is, just not get involved. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this is not where you get them.
There's nothing you can help me with for a public records request form today?
Not for that information.
Because how else are they going to gather this content that they need to appeal, whether it's in an administrative court or a civil court or some other level of appeal or whatnot, if they can't collect it because everybody's saying I'm uncomfortable, so therefore your liberty has to be suppressed so that everybody can feel comfortable?
Again, I think for me to give an answer right now is really difficult because you're asking me questions that I hadn't even thought about.
Public request, I don't have anything like that.
You don't have
People actually feel offended being filmed by people who they don't know, so I don't know if you understand that, but that's okay.
I know. Imagine all those liberties, laid out in the Bill of Rights that we have. I mean, imagine if we could just replace all of the laws with feelings enforcement. Wouldn't that be better? We could just swim in an ocean of raw emotion all day. Hey everyone, I have a really interesting and potentially profound story for you all today. In this DCYF story, which went wrong from nearly the very beginning, I had an unexpected opportunity to have an impromptu interview with the area administrator for DCYF in Puyallup and ask her the tough questions. Along the way, I think I may have inched open the door and snuck a red pill in through the crack. You just saw this in the trailer. But I will say this, check out every moment of this story. It is insightful, continuing, with a mixture of good and bad that really opens the door into the minds of DCYF in a little more of a way than we're used to expecting. Thanks for watching and your support. Hey everyone, I am free. It's May 15th, 2024. I am in the city of Puyallup, Pierce County, Washington State. I am heading to the DCYF DSHS office here in Puyallup because I got a series of tips and leads alleging poor behavior, mistreatment, lack of transparency for public records requests. So I'm going there to look into that. While I got your attention, if you wouldn't mind liking, sharing, and subscribing, hitting that all notifications bell so you get my stories right from the release, it'd be greatly appreciated. You can follow me on X at I.A.M Auditing and on Facebook at Inland Auditing Media. And if you want to help keep my feet on the street, you could do so by going to the links in the description for Cash App and Venmo. Let's head on in.
May I help you?
I'm good right now. Appreciate it though. Thank you. A quick question for you. So is this the, joint public lobby for both DSHS and DCYF?
It's not DSHS.
Oh, gotcha. I just saw the signs out front.
DVR is part of DSHS.
I see. Okay, so in that sense it's shared, but apart from that, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Can I ask what you're here for?
Yeah, just working on some stuff.
Working on some stuff for what?
Just mostly myself at this point.
Oh,
Is that okay?
Yeah.
It's fine, then. That's okay. Let him go. There's nothing that he can film in
oh, I
anyway.
know. You can't go past the doors.
Is there any information that you need?
I was just about to get some more. She always helping me with a couple of the questions, so appreciate that. Another thing I wanted to see if I could get is a public records request form.
Is a what?
Public records request form.
Was there a case here that you had?
Oh, no. It's not about case documents or anything. It's about the employees at this facility, so like state employees.
I'm sorry, the what?
It's about state employees It's not about like case details or anything for clients.
Public request, I don't have anything like that.
You don't have any public records request forms?
Yeah, but the public request forms are for people who have had cases here.
Yeah, and I'm just requesting records about the actual facility and the employees of the facility for the state.
Oh, we don't have anything, I don't have anything like that.
Oh, gotcha. Do you have a manager you might be able to call up?
He's not in today.
Gotcha. So I just want to make sure I understand this. So there's nothing you can help me with for a public records request form today?
Not for that information.
Gotcha. Okay, then...
And I don't know that you'd be able to get any of that personal information from here.
Oh, yeah, about employees?
Yeah.
Oh, totally can, yeah. I get like names, wages, email addresses for the state, that kind of stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
That,
Yeah. Then what I think I'll do is just make a verbal public records request to you since you're a state employee.
okay, the only records requests that we take in are if people have had a case here and they're requesting their records.
Yeah, and while I appreciate what you're saying, that seems to be at stark contrast with the Public Records Act. So in Section 80 of the Public Records Act...
Okay, so.
Hey everyone, what I was just going over with the receptionist is the Public Records Act, both Sections 10 and 80 of RCW 42.56. Section 80 states that no official format is required, thus an oral detailing of the request can be given to any employee at any location. They then have 5 business days to respond. Section 10 defines what a local agency is and includes any, quote, office. Thus, this location suffices for that purpose, yet this lady clearly has not received and or retained that information. Section 80 reads as follows. Agency facilities shall be made available to any person for the copying of public records except when and to the extent that this would unreasonably disrupt the operations of the agency. Agencies shall honor requests received in person during an agency's normal office hours or by mail or email for identifiable public records unless exempted by provisions of this chapter. No official format is required for making a records request. However, agencies may recommend that requesters submit requests using an agency-provided form or webpage. Section 10 reads as follows. Agency includes all state agencies and all local agencies. State agency includes every state office, department, division, bureau, board, commission, or other agency. Local agency includes every county, city, town, municipal corporation, quasi-municipal corporation, or special purpose district, or any office, department, division, bureau, board, commission, or agency thereof, or other local public agency. These are important aspects of records requests so that the government must be compelled to bend the knee to its rulers, the people, and not the other way around.
So, you'd have to go to a facility where they have where you can apply for public records, and here is all private records. So it's all confidential records here. So they cannot give you out any information as far as employees, how much they make, and all that stuff. You'd have to go to, I don't know where it's at, but I know it's not this office.
Yeah, a couple things. One, do you work for the state?
Actually, no, I'm just contracted to this place, that's it.
Gotcha. Is part of your contract filling in agency roles for a public records officer in accordance with the Public Records Act?
Exactly, no. In fact, I don't even have to answer your question.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what I think would probably be best in this case, since you're not a state employee and she is, and I do mean this respectfully,
Okay, I understand.
just
I understand.
not get involved. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
but this is not where you get them.
Yeah.
We don't give those out.
Oh, no, I understand you can't give me the records. I totally agree with you on that. I'm not disputing that whatsoever.
Are you taking my picture right now?
I'm video recording you.
No, you can record me, but not my picture.
Yeah, I'm getting your picture right now.
And I don't want you to do that.
That's totally lawful to do.
Well, but it's my decision whether or not to let you or not.
Well, I mean, you can walk away from your job. Are you going to deny the public records request, ma'am?
I'm sorry, what's that?
Hi.
Hi. Oh, are you here because the doorbell?
Yes, I heard the ring.
Yeah. I was trying to get some assistance from the lady up here, and then she kind of rage quit a second ago. So
Okay.
I'm just looking to get some assistance for some records.
Okay, what kind of record?
Not
Is
client
this-
records, to be clear. It's actually, I'm trying to do a public records request for records about this facility and the employees of the facility, not about clients.
Okay, that is...
And it can be done at any agency. What I was trying to explain to the lady is in Section 80 of the Public Records Act,
Yes.
it says you can go to any office, department, agency, etc. So it just basically explains you can go to any state, public, local, county, city, whatever office
Okay.
and do a records request. She unfortunately, just like I said, sort of rage quit. So
I don't know.
I don't really
Oh, she
understand.
left? Okay.
Yeah, she just got really upset and walked
Okay,
away.
so what are you looking for again?
I'm just looking to make a public records request.
Okay, let me...
If you got like a manager or someone, or who's the manager, by the way?
She's not here at the moment. That's why I'm trying
Fair
to...
enough. You're just trying to help. Yeah, I appreciate that. But what's your name?
I'm Joe, by the way. Sorry, I will try
Is
to...
it Jim?
Joe. J-O-E.
Joe. Okay, I'm Steve.
Nice to meet you. Sorry, let me
Yeah, it's all right, Joe. I appreciate the help. Yeah, if you can help me with this, I'd appreciate it.
find...
All right, thank you.
So you just want some records?
Well,
Here, can you-
I know you can't provide the records to
Yes.
me. I'm just trying to provide the request to you guys.
Okay.
And then have you guys pass it on to whoever your public records officer is.
Okay, so you want your request to us.
Yes, I'm trying to make a request to DCYF
Uh-huh.
to get records about this facility and its employees.
Oh, okay.
And so I just...
You're just trying to get request
I'm trying to get a request to you, yeah.
to us.
Yep.
Sorry, we can't get anybody to answer your questions right now, so.
That's all right.
and-
They're open until 4:30, right?
Records office for your information.
Appreciate it, Phoenix.
Thank you, you're welcome.
And there's another bizarre thing. You get the taunting from a private contract security officer digging at the implication that no one will provide me service today because they want me to go to another office. Not shocking that this kind of behavior is continuing. I mean, we saw how it was up in Bellevue, and just crazy. Yeah, and here's another perfect example. Obviously, I would never release information that is private. However, look at how unprofessional. Hi, are you able to give me a hand, ma'am, by chance? Are you able to give me a hand by chance? I'm looking to get a public records request form.
A public record for request who?
Form.
Oh,
Yeah, for some reason the lady totally rage quit. She just got up and left.
really?
Yeah, the lady that was up front. And also another thing, just because, I'm sure you'll agree, probably shouldn't leave when she's going to walk away, like the private information that's on the screen up. Yeah, a little awkward.
Okay, give me a second.
Thanks. Hey, I'm looking to get some assistance if I could.
Yeah.
I also wanted to make a complaint because how the lady was behaving earlier is pretty outrageous. Yikes. Left public or private information up on her screen. Literally said she wasn't going to help me with a public records request, which the Public Records Act is really clear. You can go to any office, department, division, bureau, any location and do this. So, are you a manager here?
Yes.
Okay. What's your name?
Chelsea.
Chelsea. And what do you do?
I'm the area administrator.
Oh, great. So kind of top of the pile, it sounds like. So why was she doing that? Or, I mean, isn't it where you can go? My understanding is Section 80 of the Public Records Act is pretty clear. You can go to any office. Is that accurate?
Again, I don't know specifically what you're referencing. I would have to look it up. But we do not typically consent to being audio recorded or audio videoed. So I don't give that consent today.
So you're saying I can't do that?
I'm saying that I personally
Yeah.
do not give my consent
Gotcha.
for you to audio or video record me.
Sure.
And I can't speak to what you're referencing, but this is the public disclosure request form
Okay.
that you requested. There is a process for you to fill that out
Sure.
with your personal information. You do need to provide a copy of your photo ID for us to get that going, and there is an email and a phone number that you can contact, which should be on that form for you to get that going.
Gotcha.
We do have clients who come in here who also we want to hope to respect their privacy, so we would just ask that if you could please leave. We want to protect their privacy as well. This is the Department of Children, Youth, and Families, a
Sure.
field office for child welfare, and so
Okay.
there are a lot of folks who come in here. who
Okay.
Also, we want to hope to respect their privacy as well. And I
Yeah.
apologize for any interactions that you had with our clerical staff, but
Well, I appreciate that. I guess I need to address a few things. One, as to the records request, which is the primary reason I've shown up today. So as the area administrator, it's your position that in order for me to do a public records request about the Department of Children, Youth, and Families, not about client documents, I still need to identify to the state?
I know that what we provide when a client or someone comes in from the community to request documents,
Sure.
we direct them to the public disclosure website, or if you just Google DCYF public disclosure, that will show you. We don't provide anything directly here from the office.
Oh,
It all
sure.
goes
I
through that
totally
process.
agree with you. I'm not looking to actually get the records from you. I'm just, because this is the closest office to me and I wanted to make it as convenient for myself as possible. So since I was nearby, I came by here. I'm not looking to attain records about clients at all, and I'm not a client myself. I'm looking to attain records about state employees at this office and information about this office for DCYF. So in that vein, is it your position that in order for me to seek those records that I need to identify to the state?
I don't have a position on that at all. I would direct you to that website to identify what forms you have to do. I'm not saying that I'm an expert on how you make those public disclosures.
Oh yeah, and I'm not trying to imply you're an expert. So I'm just, because
think-
initially you had said that I needed to identify.
Yeah, that's typically the process that we give out when someone
Gotcha.
comes in and they request for records request.
Sure.
You fill this form out. I believe you typically include a copy of. I was just trying to provide you with as much information as.
Oh, I
you
see.
can about
Okay.
How
Fair
you
enough.
would request that.
Fair enough. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'll fill it out and then just submit it back. I'll include my email on there, so that way if the PRO, whoever that is, has any questions, they can certainly get a hold of me. As to the other issues, I know since you are the area administrator, you had said that seems to be a consent issue for recording video and audio here. Are you of the mind that there is an expectation of privacy where we're at right now?
Can you clarify your question?
Yeah, is there an expectation? So do people have an expectation that where we're at right now in the lobby of the DCYF office, that there is a belief that one has privacy in this location?
I think that we want to respect the privacy of our staff in general, and if they don't consent to any audio or video recording, we want to respect that. And again, we typically at this agency do not consent to any audio or video recording. That is our policy. We don't do that when we interact with clients. We say the same things. We don't consent to that. And so if a staff member feels uncomfortable about being audio or video recorded, we don't force them to do that.
Gotcha.
That's why I'm here.
So it sounds like it's more of a preference is kind of what we're getting at. It's not really that it's a position of DCYF, it's just an individual
I'm
preference.
saying that each individual employee has the right to decline to be audio or video recorded.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you guys can absolutely say, I don't want to be on video and audio. I'm going to politely refuse that request just because it's infringing on my liberties. So I know it's kind of awkward, but it's just I'm in a position where, because you guys have this preference that's not compulsory, I do have liberties like you do, but there is no expectation of privacy here. In Washington State, there's an RCW, it's 9.73. It's the Privacy Act. And actually it goes to explain where you do and how you do have privacy. In a location like this, no one does, because it's a public lobby. And in fact, one of the things you have right there on the sign is on the door, it says this is the end of the public space. So this is public effectively just like as if we were out on the sidewalk or at a park or anything like that, for purposes of audio, video recording, free speech, press, assembly, all those things. We have that ability here. So,
And I understand
yeah.
that. I really want to impress upon you that this is a child welfare office. This is not a public benefits office. This is where
Sure.
families, children come.
Mm-hmm.
And so, again, I understand your point of view, but I
Sure.
really want to respect the privacy of the clients that have to come to this office.
Sure. Yeah, and I appreciate that. And sometimes, we get to a loggerhead where, because of maybe a preference on one hand and then just the legal reality, they sort of come into a collision with one another, and one has to end up sort of coming out on top over the other. And preferences end up subordinating themselves to constitutional law. Otherwise, we just sort of find ourselves in a, anarchistic environment, which I can appreciate for some is maybe beneficial, but I just would really like to have my liberties maintained. So in that vein, why was it? I mean, is this lady literally just not going to provide any assistance to the public if she's being recorded? Is there something that she's trying to hide, or?
Again, I'm not going to answer that level of questioning. I think, again, I respect the individual rights of my employees and their
More than-
inability to, or unwillingness, or their, like you said, preference to not be audio
Sure.
or video recorded, which is why I'm here to respond.
Gotcha.
Again, I really would hope that you would respect the privacy and the confidentiality of the different individuals who have to come to this field office
Yeah.
to work with our staff. And so again, it's an uncomfortable situation to be put in by anyone to be audio and video recorded.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would hope that
So
we
the-
can complete what you were asking
Mhm.
and have you exit.
Yeah, I can't do that. I appreciate the request. I'm going to have to deny that request. The issue is, it sounds like what DCYF is taking a position on, since you're the area administrator, it seems, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the Department of Children, Youth, and Families, vis-a-vis yourself as an administrator, an agent of DCYF, is taking a position that this is not a free press area.
That is not at all what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we deal with confidential information.
Sure.
And when you audio and video record that confidential information, that confidentiality is infringed upon by our clients and the folks that have to come here. And also, we have the right to not be audio or video recorded.
You do?
That's our individual preference. And
You have
so,
that right?
Like I said, my staff don't feel comfortable, which
Sure.
is why I'm here. You're not here alone.
Sure.
You're with me. I'm
Yeah.
here to provide you what you
Well,
need.
I'll tell you, one of the things I'm also about, which is what I'm going to be requesting for records, which is why this is, I guess, sort of developing as we're going here, is that there are some allegations that individuals who came in to get services done had a disagreement, relatively politely, right? But had a disagreement later on about what transpired. And allegedly what transpired was out in this area, a public area. And at the time, the person didn't have any evidence of it, like no recording or audio, video, anything like that. So later on, attempted to do so, and allegedly was treated rather brusquely and told that they couldn't do that. Now, of course, the ailment in that scenario is that this individual is in a hearsay situation where the person who works for DCYF has an argument that they're making, the client is making a separate and different argument, and they're not compatible. Yet, the client has no evidence of this because that client was basically is making the impression upon me that they were intimidated, not violently or anything, but just felt intimidated by being asked not to actually get any collection of information or data while they're here. Now, obviously, that's pretty important for people to be able to do, because if there is something that's in error on behalf of DCYF, that evidence could be extremely valuable to them to maybe conduct an appeal, make a complaint to their representative or senator at a state level. But this person doesn't have the ability to do so. When I come here, I'm now finding in speaking with the area administrator that sort of, oh, I don't feel intimidated, to be clear. We're having a cordial conversation, maybe a disagreement, but it's still cordial. I'm now getting evidence, especially from the receptionist that was out here earlier, that the response from DCYF is one bordering on vitriolic, at least from her. So I'm trying to find out, why is that the case? I mean, shouldn't a member of the public, if they want to gather evidence to corroborate that there's a disagreement between the state's adjudication and a client, that they can collect that and then provide it later as a source of evidence to the state? I mean, wouldn't that be valuable?
Sorry.
Oh, it's all right.
So what I heard you say is that there's a situation with a disagreement and you're here to collect evidence to kind of corroborate.
Well, I'm trying to see if what was described to me was in fact, it is in fact even sensible, right? Like I could come in here and all of a sudden, maybe it's not that way, and all of a sudden I find out there's no merit to these allegations whatsoever. However, the brusque response from the receptionist when I came in, when I was just simply trying to get a public records request, seems to corroborate the brusque behavior that this individual, a client, alleges occurred here. Now, when Joe came out, picture perfect, polite, and professional. And actually, though we're disagreeing, you're being very professional and nice too. So I can't say I have an issue there. But the security guard, way out of bounds. She is not a state employee. She shouldn't be interjecting herself in anything. She started to interject herself in the middle of a public records request. Unless she's an agent for DCYF, she needs to butt out and just stop. It is not her job. She does not get paid for that. She doesn't know anything about the Public Records Act, I'm gathering, because she's a security officer. So there's a couple of things that stand out to me immediately that make me go, what this person was describing to me was probably happening here because of the way the receptionist was behaving and the way the security officer was. And in fact, there's another complaint I have, which is another lady was actually coming out to help me. Seemed very interested in trying to provide assistance to me. The receptionist that was out here earlier was down at the end of the hall, pulled her back there, and I could overhear her articulating, don't help that person. Why on earth would a state employee say those things when someone is just trying to get assistance? Can you answer that?
I think that when folks get into stressful situations, again, as the area administrator, as the manager of the office, I take your complaint seriously, I take your feedback seriously, and I will work to address it. You're sharing that with me right now, and so there's nothing I can do to address what has happened. I can only work to address it to hopefully improve any future interactions. Again,
sure. And
it is very stressful to have an individual come in. I don't want to explain, but you do have your face covered.
Yeah.
So that is a very scary experience for someone. We work in a very high pressure field. We take our own personal safety very seriously when working with the community. And so I would assume that it was a very high pressured situation, very uncomfortable when you're being audio recorded and pictures and things like that. So again, I apologize for that experience, and I'll work to address it so that any interactions that we have with the community in the future are positive one. That's definitely what we want.
Yeah, I appreciate that. One thing I'd like to put out without it going any further in terms of identification of the source that reached out to me confidentially, is the individual is a minority in two different ways, both female and African American. I'm sure you can appreciate the delicate nature of a African American female coming in, feeling like there was a problem, comes back to record so she can get evidence, only to have, and this is sort of the vein that she was conveying to me. This is sort of her experience, so I want to be clear about that. To have a white person then treat her the way that she did, right? So on top of that, I'm seeing how that lady responded. It seems to corroborate what that lady was describing who reached out to me as a confidential source to a journalist. it doesn't look good, right? I mean, that doesn't really look good at all. And we have to find ourselves asking, why is this happening? So one thing I'd like to do, because as a journalist, I have to dig into these things, and this is all publicly available information. So the receptionist, I'd like to get her name and official title. And then if you have like a business card or something, if I could get that, that'd be great. Because frankly, I want to do some records requests and see if there are issues of racism at this facility when people are trying to get services, because that seems to be the implication from that lady, and that's unfortunate. I'm sure you don't support that as the area administrator.
No. Again,
So-
I take any feedback or any I'm going to say feedback. Any feedback or complaint
Sure.
very seriously. We serve the community. That's what we do here
Sure.
in this office, and
Yeah.
we want to make sure it's the most successful interaction that we can with anyone. Again, I can't speak to that
Okay.
specific scenario. That's my business card
Sure.
there.
Do you have a pen I could briefly borrow? And then if I could get that lady's name and position with the Department of Children, Youth, and Families, I'll write that down, and then I can do a public records request.
Well, we have 3 different clerical managers that work here, so their official titles would be.
Oh, I'm just talking about the lady who was out here earlier.
It would have been Sierra, Rondi, or Sierra.
I know she's an older lady, kind of graying hair. Are they all older or
I would assume it potentially could have been Rondi.
Rondi? Okay. Is that Rondi?
R-H-O-N-D-I.
And what's her last name?
Well, that's a great question. I don't know if I feel comfortable since I'm being recorded.
Well, what I'm hoping we can get done here is I mean, this is all publicly available. I mean, obviously you can refuse to provide me that information. I can't compel you to do it. But on the other hand, I think it would look a lot better in light of the circumstances that brought me here today as a journalist to look into these issues if you could be more forthcoming, because I'm going to get these records anyways. I think it would go to show a positive step forward if that publicly available information, I mean, just like with you, you're a public, employee, she is.
I provide that to you. I
Yeah.
have no issues with that.
And it's the same situation with her. So if I could get that, because really what I need to do is get public records about her specifically to see if there have been issues in the past with her employment in the state of Washington. And the only way for me to do that is if I know how to identify her, so I can be more specific when requesting these records of the state.
Yeah.
So what's your last name?
Ooh, that's a great question. Give me a moment.
Sure, you bet. Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, ma'am, I know you don't have to answer, but have you done a lot of public records request assistance?
Oh, no, of course not.
You haven't?
No.
Okay. Sounds almost a little sarcastic. My concern is that maybe you're interjecting.
What are you talking about?
My concern is that you've maybe interjected yourself in the middle of PRR situations when you're not.
Well, the thing is, because I see she was getting upset, so I tried to explain to you, but you didn't want to hear me, so that's why I walked away.
Yeah, and that's probably good. I mean, to stay in your lane as security is probably the best thing to do right off the bat.
I was doing my job because she was getting upset.
Yeah, ma'am, look, it's obvious. I'm no threat. I'm not angry. I'm not terse, right? Exactly. That's my point, is like, you're obviously low-key about it. You're not concerned, clearly. However, for some inexplicable reason, the receptionist here was upset or concerned. For what reason? Because a journalist came in to get information? To get a records request? It can't be because of the mask. We just got done wearing them for 3 years.
Some people actually feel offended being filmed by people who they don't know, so I don't know if you understand that, but that's okay.
I know. Imagine all those liberties, laid out in the Bill of Rights that we have. I mean, imagine if we could just replace all of the laws with feelings enforcement. Wouldn't that be better? We could just swim in an ocean of raw emotion all day. It'd be great. Then we could just, not have anything make sense anymore.
That's called mediocrity.
Exactly my point. What's that, ma'am?
Davis.
Davis. Okay. I'm assuming traditional spelling. Okay. And so with DCYF, what is her official title? You were starting to explain it,
Yeah,
and
let me
then
look at it.
thanks.
I don't know off the top of my head.
And thank you for the assistance, by the way. Appreciate it.
The phones don't work. We don't have great reception.
Oh, and these buildings honestly can be like a straight up bunker. I mean, they can.
It really can be.
I can wait for a minute. Also, while you're trying to get that, I'll start filling out this public records request. All right. There is that. Oops, sorry.
That's okay. Thank you.
Yeah, there's your pen back.
Thank you. All right.
Good to go?
I think so.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Can I ask, is the plan to stay till the end of close of business?
Yeah,
Is there a specific reason for that?
there is. It's sort of related to what I was discussing earlier, but I really don't want to go further into it just because there's other things that are shared and I don't want to alter the encounter. So,
Okay. I mean, I have no problem staying. I will just need to get my stuff so I can plug it, but that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
I did want to also ask, so how does, in this vein, since I am fortunate enough to have you here able to answer these questions, how does this work with the scenario I provided to you regarding this lady who has made these allegations, wanting to record for posterity's sake, should there be a disagreement again in the future when these kinds of scenarios occur? Now, obviously, you're a very nice, very professional lady. I mean, you're handling it perfectly. We've had a disagreement, but you're handling it fine. I mean, you're doing your job. But the concern, at least in terms of what brought me here from this lady's allegations, is that if any other person came in, it almost seems like it may require you to handle every kind of situation. That seems a bit burdensome because if we're paying you more, as in the taxpayers, to administer the area, it seems like it would be more advantageous to have you do that rather than sit the front counter when, though it may be uncomfortable, it's a public space and the receptionist, the secretary senior rather, would just, I guess, need to deal with it in effect, because these people need to record their interactions. And like I said, I didn't come here randomly. It was this lady who reached out with frustration saying, I don't know what else to do. And so she saw my news media company and saw the kinds of stories I work on and reached out to me. And so what can be done to fix this?
I mean, I think that's a complex question. I would say, I think, again, it is very uncomfortable what's happening, you know. I'm sure you know. It is uncomfortable. And so, like I said, today is you've shared those concerns with me. And I think I'm just going to move forward, and I don't know if I can give you an answer today.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Let me clarify. I don't mean about the lady. I mean, I have no doubt, I believe you, that you're going to look into this and maybe do some training or something. I'm talking about the general idea that somebody comes into a publicly available space. Now, for example, if you invited me in past the door right now, you would be within your rights to say, I'm inviting you back here, but you cannot have your recording devices on while you're back here. It's a non-public forum is how it would be referred to. This is a public forum, a limited public forum, but one nonetheless. And so what I'm talking about is if a client comes in and feels the necessity of recording to have documentation of their encounter with this department, is it going to have to be that everyone that records their encounter for posterity's sake has to deal with the area administrator herself? That seems a bit much.
Yeah, I don't think that that would be the scenario in every circumstance. I think it like I said, I respect the comfortability of my staff and their right to decline to be audio or video recorded. But each individual staff member here has their own individual freedom to decline or to sit here and have that occur. Again, we serve the community, so I want someone to be here to service the community if someone comes in. At this time, it's almost the end of the day, and so I have some time to sit here and do that. I also have the ability to log into my workspace and still get my work done while
Sure.
I sit here and provide that. So again, I don't think it's in every scenario it would need to be the area administrator. This actually has happened in this office before, and I at that time was a supervisor. And
You had a journalist come in for the same situation that I was talking about?
I don't know the scenario, but we have had someone come in to record, audio record and video record, and I also responded in that scenario, and I wasn't an area administrator at that time, so
Gotcha.
it really just depends on the individual.
Gotcha. So it sounds like DCYF provides the latitude, managerially speaking, to allow an individual, should someone be here, hypothetically, for 8 hours, to have that person abrogate the responsibilities in occupying the secretary's position at the desk and go elsewhere for the entire shift.
And I think that could be accommodated given the circumstances. I think we would also, in that scenario, alert any clients who came in of what was occurring to not infringe upon their rights to decline to be audio or video recorded. Like I said, this is a office that services various clientele. We also have DVR housed in this building, so that's a DSHS program.
Sure.
So they have various clients that come in, and we want to make sure that their rights and confidentiality are protected.
So in that scenario, and I appreciate all the information, by the way, thank you. In that scenario where a client comes in, whether it's for DCYF or it's DVR, whatever, they come into the public lobby and either myself as a journalist or some random citizen who's recording for whatever reason they want to, is here recording, and a client says, I don't want to be recorded. What is the position of DCYF at that point?
I don't know if DCYF would have a position on that. Again, it's an individual's right to decline to be audio or video recorded. I think we would have to get creative in how we would meet that client's need at that time.
Like take them back into a private area or
If we're
something?
unable to.
Sure, okay, that makes sense.
that.
Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, I just, I want to make sure that I can portray accurately as I can through my news media outlet, whatever's going on. And like I said, I think what's being corroborated here is that more than likely what occurred when that lady came in the second time to record and had an incident is likely what happened. And I think the issue here is in terms of serving the community, I think it would probably serve the community better that if a citizen came in, or a journalist, but I mean, if I didn't have a reason to be here, I wouldn't be here. But if a citizen's coming in with a complaint, they want to document that so they have evidence of it later, it seems like attempting to put the comfortable desire of an employee or even another citizen in a public space above the liberties of that individual to document their encounter with the government would take precedent. Because how else are they going to gather this content that they need to appeal, whether it's in an administrative court or a civil court or some other level of appeal or whatnot, if they can't collect it because everybody's saying I'm uncomfortable, so therefore your liberty has to be suppressed so that everybody can feel comfortable.
Again, I think for me to give an answer right now is really difficult because you're asking me questions that I hadn't even thought about.
Sure, it's kind of on the
This
spot.
very moment.
Totally
So
understand.
it's difficult.
Yeah, no, I totally understand, and yeah, I'm not trying to bust your chops or anything. I just, I'm looking at this through the lens. As a journalist, I have to ask these questions. You may not have all the answers. I totally appreciate that. Most people don't have all the answers to anything, right? So I just wanted to ask those questions. So look, I am actually going to jet at this point. I really am very appreciative for your being willing to sit down and have an impromptu field interview, if you will. Well, look, I hope you have a wonderful day, Chelsea.
You
Thanks.
as well.
You take care.
Thank you.
Well, that was a really great encounter with Chelsea. I'm not going to say I agree with everything that she said. Of course, I'm still in disagreement with her regarding, the issues of recording. That being said, comment below, everyone. I think that is really, really rare to see an administrator sit down, even when a bit uncomfortable, and actually have that kind of an interview. I mean, I know she was doing that because she was sitting at the desk because she wanted to provide to her employee the ability to go elsewhere. And I find it very disconcerting that Chelsea's willing to have Rondi have an entire shift elsewhere in the building and have her sit down and replace her there. I don't think that's appropriate, but I will say this. She was very polite. She was, I think, very professional in the sense that she handled herself well. I don't agree with her positions on it, and I'm going to do further requests to DCYF to inquire about that more. But I was shocked and surprised that I was able to get that polite interview with her. So comment below. Let me know what you think about this. I think that was good. Obviously, this is a story that has to keep going. It's got teeth to it. DCYF needs to answer for this. And why are they allowing this kind of stuff to go on? If Rondi doesn't want to be recorded or have the possibility of being recorded in public, she needs to get a different job. That can happen. She's a secretary senior. She should not be behaving like that there. But it is what it is. So with that being said, please like, share, and subscribe. Hit that all notifications bell so you get my stories right when they release. You can follow me on X at I.A.M Free Auditing. You can follow me on Facebook at Inland Auditing Media. And if you want to help keep my feet on the streets, you can do so by going to the links in the description for Cash App and Venmo. Thanks for all your support, everyone. I appreciate it, and I'll see you at the next location. Bye for now.